What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Uncultured Cinematic Universe. Each episode, we take a look at classic and iconic and favorite films of ours from two perspectives, that of the diehard fan and that of the uncultured who's never seen it before until now, this very moment in time. As a reminder, you can watch us on YouTube or listen to us wherever you get your podcasts at. That's Spotify, Apple Podcasts. What are some others? I can't even think of others than those two.
We do like a no, you mentioned YouTube. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, YouTube, but like other it doesn't matter.
There's you could probably like listen to this podcast if you go to like our Restream or RSS page, but I don't think anyone does that.
Yeah, but if you want to, just know that that's available now. Just search for the Uncultured Cinematic Universe
Yeah, we
and
technically have a website, I think, that's just like empty because
floating
we
out
needed
there.
like a URL.
You know what? We should open up a Zanga and just start blogging our thoughts. Live journal of this shit.
A little zine.
We'll do that. Remember to anyway, however you like us, or however you like to watch us or listen to us, please be sure to like, review, and subscribe. It's just the nice thing to do these days. Tip your servers and like your podcasts. That's
Yeah,
that's just what you're supposed to do.
that's
Also,
what
be
we
sure
get to.
to be sure to check us out on Instagram at UCU Podcast for all the latest happenings and all the whatnot. Let's just get that engagement up, click that double click, get us that heart, save
I
some things.
I will say we have a dynamite social media presence that's really improved in the last few months since Justin's wife Ryan took over. So anytime we have like cocktails or anything in the episodes, or if we have like a game that we play, she'll usually find a way to work it into our Instagram, either in the stories or as a post. So there's like interactive content for the kids on there,
It's fun for the whole family,
yeah,
you know?
we're coming out with a CD-ROM later.
Could you imagine what a world that would be? But yeah, so let's do the thing that we're supposed to do, Joe. Without further ado, let's cast aside and throw caution to the wind as we barely stalk our ex to a Hawaiian paradise and talk about forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Forget her, I hardly know her.
I just met her. What a fun time this movie was. This was my pick for the month of August. We are
Mm-hmm.
talking about summer vacation flicks, or just like vacation flicks with like feels of the summer heat, going to an exotic place or just someplace that's not home.
You want to know
And
a fun fact that I learned about August recently?
what's that?
It's like the only one that doesn't have like an official holiday, the only month really. So it feels right that we are covering summer vacation in August because we need a little bit of a moment to reflect on the fact that it's hot as hell outside. We shouldn't be doing work. Let's talk about stories about people going to distant places and
Getting
finding
away,
themselves and coming together and splitting up in different ways.
finding themselves and finding love.
Wow.
That's what it's all about. But yeah, so that's what the theme of this month is. It's just summer vacation flicks, and this one, while you probably wouldn't think of it as a typical summer vacation movie, like we can kind of cram it into that theme because it takes place in Hawaii. It was shot on location in Hawaii,
Hmm.
and it's about escape. It's about, or at least some of the basis of the movie is centered around escape.
It's
Uh,
definitely I need to get out of the place that I am at right now and I need a new outlook on life.
Yeah. So, yeah, first impressions, Joe. What did you think of the first time you laid eyes on Forgetting Sarah Marshall?
Here's what I knew about this movie going into it, and it didn't disappoint. I obviously knew about the Jason Segel peen of it all. Um,
We'll come back to that, but what a peen.
it, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, yeah.
good peen in this movie. That was kind of the main thing I knew about it. Is like this is kind of Jason Segel's breakout Apatow moment. So many of the folks from I guess it's like Freaks and Geeks of that era
Hmm.
had kind of like an Apatow movie moment come about 10 years later.
Yeah.
So this movie falls really in line with like the raunchy but like kind of smart movies of the late 2000s early 2010s. So you got like this, you got Super Bad, you have Knocked Up,
Yeah.
leading up into like Bridesmaids, which even gets like Oscar nominations, right? And so it's within the era of like I don't want to say classier raunchy movies, but like more thought through, more thought provoking raunch, even though like it's kind of like a sex comedy too.
It definitely is a sex comedy, but yeah, like you totally nailed it. It's that bubble of the Apatow verse. All of those things, I think it kickstarted with like 40-Year-Old Virgin,
Mhm.
followed through all of this. And I love that, like you mentioned, Bridesmaids. That was kind of like the cap, the end piece.
Mhm.
In that sweet spot of like 2007 when I think 40-Year-Old Virgin came out to like 2013, 14 when Bridesmaids came out and when This Is the End came out. Like I think that was like the sweet 7-year spot of in every year you could count on one of these types of movies coming out.
Mhm.
It would always be generally the same kind of like formula. It was someone from Freaks and Geeks or someone within the Apatow verse, and a hilarious leading lady as well. I'm thinking like Leslie Mann, of course, Rose Byrne.
A lot of Leslie Mann, love Rose Byrne.
Yeah, like those are like the cast and crew that kind of follows and bumps around through each of those movies, and that was such a unique time, you
You
know?
did have Apatow kind of doing the MCU thing before they were doing it. You had like an Apatow verse, and so you have these movies that are like some of them are interconnected, some of them are kind of like spin-offs of each
Yeah,
other.
yeah.
I've weirdly here's my note about Forgetting Sarah Marshall. I've seen Get Him to the Greek, which is the spin-off to this movie, but I haven't seen Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
So was that fun for you, like, kinda seeing the
It's a
inception
fun
of
movie.
Aldous Snow
Yeah.
just
Yeah, yeah,
popping
yeah.
up in this?
I mean, he's a lot more. I'm not going to say relatable, but he's a lot more central in Get Him to the Greek, and so he has like more ups and downs, and is not just like some insane side character like he is
He's
in this movie.
yeah, he definitely has a character arc in that flick versus just, like, kind of the antagonist, kind of comedic relief,
Hmm.
but it's so funny. Like, I first of all, so I love this movie so much. Um This was, one of the last great or well, not even last great, but it was part of that era of just, like, unique comedies
Hmm.
that we were talking about earlier, and I remember watching this movie so much the summer of 2009,
Hmm.
when it hit HBO. So, that was the summer I graduated college, and I hadn't gotten a job yet because it was the summer of 2009. Joe, if you don't
You
remember,
slacker. Summer of Love.
if you don't recall, 2008 was when we saw the recession, the Great Recession, some are calling it. And so 2009, that was still kind of seeing some of the remnants of that taking place. So like all summer, I didn't have a job, a professional big boy job. So I watched a lot of HBO, and that movie was on all the fucking time, and I saw it so many times. Um, that summer and then subsequent years, and it's just ingrained in my brain as like such this it's like such of a like weird comfort watch. Like even though it's a
Hmm.
raunchy comedy, it's so I don't know, well lived in. It feels comfortable at times. I don't know. It's I can't describe it. I just
That
love it.
that period of comedy, just in general across like TV and uh, movies, feels like such a birthplace for so many of like the big comedic names that we have even today. So you have like Jason Segel on a show right now, Jason Sudeikis on a major show right now, Seth Rogen, Kristen Wiig, like Leslie Mann, those types, and then like even thinking about HBO at that time, you have like Flight of the Concords, which has led to so much. And so it kind of introduces this like really like smart and witty and kind of like biting comedy. A lot
Yeah.
of it's coming in from SNL. A lot of it's coming in from like the Apatow verse, and that wave is still going today, except they've just got bigger budgets.
Bigger budgets, but like I don't think the hits are as numerous or
Hmm.
as consistent as they once were,
Yeah,
in that
definitely
time
not with
frame.
movies. It's definitely more of like a TV thing these days. It feels like.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, like you said, I love that you brought that up. Jason Segel going on to do that. What is it? The Apple TV show with Harrison Ford.
Yeah, he's on Shrinking now. I haven't watched it, but I've heard he's good. But like
Dynamite. He had his moment with the Muppets
we're missing like
movies that
eight
came out.
seasons of How I Met Your Mother here. We're not even
How I
talking
Met Your
about it.
Mother. But like this, that's where he's sitting now. And like you said, Jason Sudeikis is here.
Hmm.
Andy Samberg. All this kind of stuff. They're the
Samber, yeah.
And I think those are kind of interrelated. Bill
Bill
Hader, of
Hader.
course. Bill Hader, of course. So, like, it's a great cast of characters who kind of bounce back and forth, and it's just like a primo, lovely set of improv comedy, like you said, like biting, raunchy comedy,
Hmm.
but also there's like some heart to it, as well as just like smart, hilarious delivery. Period.
Yeah,
You know.
that's that's actually one of the things I have in my notes, like how to describe a comedy in this era is like Bill Hader plays kind of a wacky side character. So you have this
Yeah.
movie, he's in Superbad, I'm pretty sure.
And he's a cop. Yeah.
He's a cop in Superbad. Have you seen Hot Rod with Andy Samberg?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
He's in that,
Uh huh.
along with like 80 other people. So that movie definitely exists within this area. And so you have like this universe of comedy at the time, and then the only other outlier that I think was kind of like the challenger for like raunchy comedy that everyone was obsessed with, like in my high school days, was like the Hangover movies.
Oh yeah.
So you have those kind of happening in tandem here as
Hmm.
well. So it
That's
seems
right.
like that's kind of the DC to this Apatow versus Marvel.
MCU. Yeah. 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 Quick side note: I just saw a TikTok the other day talking about specifically The Hangover.
Hmm.
So you know how like The Hangover 1, 2, and 3, they're all essentially the same fucking movie, just
I've never seen
regurgitated.
2 and 3.
So the second one is exactly the same retread as the first one. They're just in Thailand, in
Okay.
Bangkok. And the third one, I didn't see it, and I don't think anybody else did either. But they just came out on Disney Plus. There's like a kids version,
What?
essentially, of like The Hangover, but it's like a sleepover, and it's like the same kind of characters. There's like a silly kid who carries around like a backpack,
What?
who's kind of like the Alan character, the Zach Galifianakis, and it's really hilarious how they like lose a friend over the course of a night after like drinking too much hot chocolate or something. But I
Calling
need
it
to
a
check it
sleepover is kind of genius, though.
out.
Everyone
Right?
wakes up with like marker on their face or something like that.
Honestly, I think that's what happens.
Yeah.
But hilarious, you know. But yeah, so like this movie has like a super simple plot and kind of universally relatable in a sense. You know, there's like this hard breakup and you try to escape, but you're still not quite over that person, obviously. Uh, you know, Peter is not over Sarah
Hmm.
on the outset, and he's like clearly kind of stalking her in a way, trying to upset her, trying to, I don't know, still stick within her brain, but then
He's not stalking her in the way that they both end up in Hawaii, though. That's kind of the one conceit of this movie, is that you kind of just have to accept that it's a complete coincidence that they're both at the same hotel in Hawaii, and then the movie can actually start.
yeah. Yep.
Um, Yeah, it's definitely like relatable breakup cinema in the way where like your entire world just shifts if you're going through a breakup, and everything that matters doesn't matter anymore, and things that don't matter do.
Hmm.
World turns upside down. I I have some notes on the Peter character. I mean we'll talk through it.
Let's
Um,
get into that, but let's get through some of these interesting facts and figures, and
Lay it
we'll
on
move
me.
from there. So yeah, so this movie was released in let's see, April 18th, 2008. 2008,
What a
100.
time.
What a time to be alive, you know. 111-minute runtime, directed by Nicholas Stoller. This was his directorial debut, believe it or not.
Hmm.
Went on to do Get Him to the Greek, the 5-year engagement. That's with Jason Segel and Emily Blunt.
Yeah,
Neighbors, Zac Efron, Seth Rogen, Rose Byrne.
funny movie.
Neighbors 2, the sequel, the follow up. And then most recently, he did Bros, the Billy Eichner joint.
Okay, yeah. So he's kind of staying in that lane, but
Still,
evolving with the times.
absolutely. And written by Jason Segel, produced by Judd Apatow. So,
Mm,
uh, Jason Segel, I think he doesn't get a ton of the credit or maybe he might be getting his due now, but
mhm.
he's a really talented writer, a hilarious comedian, fantastic actor. And again, like we said at the top, a great dong.
Great Tong. The I'm gonna kill your buzz so much in this episode. The acting with Jason Segel, I've realized watching him that he is always an actor that I just like am constantly aware is acting, if that makes sense. Like it,
Hmm.
um, I never get lost in a Jason Segel character.
Sure.
It feels like he kind of plays the same thing
Hmm.
every single time, except in this movie he's definitely playing down and out and depressed. I don't know. I i i like a lot of the outskirts of this movie and maybe not what he's bringing to it.
Yeah, a lot of the tertiary, outside of the asteroid belt kind of characters, I think
Hmm.
really round out the cast really, really well.
Hmm.
Outside of the core four, of which we mentioned Jason Segel, Kristen Bell, of course, is delightful and hilarious as the title character.
Love
R-
Kristen Bell.
Russell Brand introducing the world to Aldous Snow. And I think this was kind of like his first major appearance in an American film,
Yeah. I
probably,
mean,
you know.
dare we say the only major thing on his resume? What's Russell Brand doing these days?
I've seen him on TikTok a couple times, and he's
Yeah.
kind of like a guru kind of person, about like the yoga and philosophizing about life, that kind of stuff.
That
Like
feels too on the nose.
it really is. It's 100%. And then, of course, dare we forget Mila Kunis?
We're gonna
Uh,
have a little bit of a Kunis corner,
Kunis
as you
corner.
so coined this past week. We because as all of our listeners definitely know, we recently wrapped up a Black Swan episode back in June, where there was obviously a lot of Kunis talk. So want to cover her evolution of a career, from that '70s show onward into this in Black Swan.
Yeah, great stuff. But yeah, so this I mentioned, this movie was filmed in Hawaii on Oahu at the actual Turtle Bay Resort. There is a
Oh,
place called the Turtle Bay Resort.
it's a
Amazing.
nice place.
It looks great, doesn't it? A fair bit of improv made its way into this movie. About 30 to 40% of the dialogue is improv,
Okay.
which makes sense for the crew. The people involved, they just love to riff and laugh. I'm thinking of Jonah Hill, all those kinds of people just rip on each other all day. This surprised me, Joe. This movie was nominated for 5 awards. Can you guess what awards they were?
I saw I saw a little bit of this when I was like glancing at the Wikipedia page. It's a lot of like MTV awards, right?
It was the 2008 Teen Choice
Okay,
Award.
Teen Choice, yes.
How is that movie making its way into a Teen Choice Awards? It's
I
an
think
R-rated movie.
every high school senior and up was going to see this.
This was an R-rated movie. There can't be that many 18-year-old seniors in a
Mhm.
class in April, you know?
I think most of them are 18 at that point. I think that's how it works.
Unless they're rising seniors, and then at which point it depends on which way you look at it. And then we got Get 'Em to the Greek being the loose follow-up sequel where Jonah Hill plays a different character entirely, but he's alongside Russell Brand's Aldous Snow, taking the center stage and going through an interesting character arc. And Sarah Marshall again makes another brief appearance in her newest NBC show, Blind Medicine, where she's a visually impaired surgeon.
I just love her being the Nick Fury of this universe, where they always have like a thing at the end of a movie just showing what insane, stupid TV show she's on now.
But so like I always knew that it was a hilarious name, that the main show that she was on, Crime Scene of the Crime.
With
Like
Billy Baldwin.
with Billy Baldwin. But like it's not a paradigm. What is it where it's frontwards and backwards?
It's a shit.
Paradiddle.
Pair titties. It's not. It's a. Why do I want to say pseudonym?
Nope. Same frontwards and backwards. Palindrome. That's what we're looking for.
Palindrome. God.
Yeah, that's what we're looking for. Palindrome, essentially, scene of the crime. That just cracks me up this time. And then, like you said, there's kind of like the mid-credits scene of her new show, Animal Instincts, where
With
she's an
Jason Bateman.
where she's an animal psychic. It's so hilarious.
It's
Like,
so
what a
great.
choice! What a choice. Um, yeah. So let's jump into the trailer, and then we'll kind of go from there, and we'll just talk through some things. Yeah.
Hey, you got here fast. I got a surprise for you.
Peter, as you know, I love you.
Are you breaking up with me?
Pete, are you, We're leading different lives. It's like you're standing on the dock and I'm in the lake.
Sarah, I swear to God, I'll jump in the lake like a merman.
Do you want to put some clothes on?
Would you like to pick out the outfit that you break up with me in?
Sexy crime fighter Sarah Marshall's been spotted cozying up to singer and notorious Lothario Aldous Snow.
She's dating somebody. And until I do the same thing, I'm gonna feel like I want to die.
Hi.
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 Do you mind not saying that?
Do you want to gag me?
Kind of now. I had sex with this woman who I barely even know. I'm really scared that I have an STD, Doc.
Peter, I'm a pediatrician. Have you noticed you're sitting on a fire truck?
Everywhere I look, I'm reminded of her.
Why don't you go on a vacation?
I could go to Hawaii.
Welcome to Turtle Bay and enjoy your stay. Peter, what are you doing here?
Came here to murder you.
This is a disaster.
Go someplace else.
I'm not leaving here. It'll look like I'm running away.
Wait, why are you whispering? You're not following them, are you? Get out of there!
Peter.
You okay?
That hurt, but I know Sarah, and I'm pretty sure I just ruined her day. I'd like to grab some dinner, please.
Is your girlfriend joining you?
No.
You just by yourself?
Yeah.
Do you want like a magazine or something? It's gonna be boring. I just would be so depressed.
Oi, why don't you come over and sit with us?
Did you see her boyfriend? He is ridiculous.
I like her hair. I wonder if the carpet matches her pubes.
This spring.
Get out of your head. It's really nice out here.
Are you gonna jump or what? Come on, Peter. I can see your vagina from here.
I'll jump.
Universal Pictures presents.
My homie over here on this honeymoon. Are you given to a hard and rough?
The wife wants me to do certain things.
No.
God would not put a playground next to a sewage system.
A comedy about getting left behind.
You need to get back on that board.
Oh, wow, you got coral on your leg.
Can you get out of my leg, please, hotel man?
You sound like you're from London.
And coming out ahead.
I think it's good you're getting out there.
I think you need to move just a tiny bit further away from the microphone. No closer.
Oh.
Now a little further.
Okay.
Closer.
And then...
Oh, I know what you're doing. You stop that.
Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
That's a great necklace, Liz. Did you have that a second ago?
Oh, that's gross.
Hey.
Hey.
It's an all right trailer.
It's an all right trailer. It
Not
makes
bad.
it seem way more like mediocre and like middle of the road.
No. It's good. It's good. That actually pulled it together a little bit more for me. Like it's a movie about getting over your ex after a breakup and how they always seem to pop up in your thoughts, except this movie, the ex is physically popping up in front of you.
Correct.
And so it's like, what if in this crazy location you still had to deal with your ex in both situations?
Yeah, your ex on both sides and the man who has successfully cuckolded you for a year.
Cuckold.
Cuckold. Speaking of cuckold, you wanna cheers our cuckold beverages?
Please don't ever start any sentence with "speaking of cuckold."
So check this out. I got I'm calling this the penile colada cocktail.
Oh God.
It's
my God.
It's
Okay.
the banana with the lime on top when he's drinking all those cocktails. And it's essentially just like a pina colada. It's rum and pineapple juice and some of my kids' fruit cup and ice, lime. It's great.
I don't know about having a banana in a cocktail like that. It seems like it would. Is it disintegrating like very quickly? What's the deal?
No, it's remaining firm, Joe. It's firm as heck. Look at that thing.
Justin's holding a banana that has a thing on top that makes it look like a
Pink,
penis.
like a peen.
This is our sex episode, everyone. My cocktail, I told you mine was a little bit of an obvious choice. I'm calling it a breakup on the beach. So
Ooh,
it is
okay.
it's sex on the beach, except it's a little bit sour. Because instead of peach schnapps, I'm using sour apple schnapps.
Amazing.
So I have 1.5 ounces vodka, 1/2 ounce of sour apple schnapps, 2 ounces of orange juice, and then 2 ounces of cranberry juice with an orange wedge for garnish.
Amazing. That sounds delightful. What does it taste like? Does it
tastes
taste like sadness and
pretty
revenge?
great.
Yeah.
It's got a little bit of a sour in there because it's not as great as Sex on the Beach.
It's true.
But the real story here is that I bought they only had one size of sour apple schnapps for when I did my social network
So
by
you
the song
have
Appletini.
Yeah.
So I have been trying to work that into every cocktail since, and so
I have
it's
noticed.
been making some appearances.
I've noticed. And you know what? Also, hats off to you for actually using real measurements.
Yeah.
Instead of just parts.
Instead of just vibes, Justin.
Yeah.
How is anyone going to remake yours?
One vibe of this and, a couple vibes of that. Two
It's
shakes.
pretty good though.
Yeah,
It's
it sounds
very
great.
tasty.
Yeah, I like that we went with the beachy vibe, the location vibe of, drinking a resort beverage.
You know what I realized when this episode started too? Like our our surf rock style intro is finally like matching. It's on theme with the
100%.
episode.
It definitely is.
It's definitely Beach Boy vibes with an ounce of depression thrown in.
Yeah, yeah, a little bit of modern day depression, breakup stuff. I love it so
Mhm.
much. It's great. You know, I got the same vibe as
Mhm.
we were doing the intro. So yeah, so let's kind of take a deeper dive in here. Let's talk about like what makes this movie a successful comedy, and then
Mhm.
I want some of your arguments. Yeah, so obviously being on location, I appreciated that. Learning that fact this go round that like they could have done it anywhere. They could have been somewhere in SoCal, green screen. They could have done that, but I appreciated that they actually did it on location, like
Yeah.
Adam Sandler does. Um,
Adam Sandler, the king of making movies to take a vacation.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Even though like this one stays essentially in one spot the whole time,
Mhm.
which is the resort, you don't get the full sweeping majesty of the island of Oahu or anywhere else in Hawaii that they may have traveled to.
Yeah,
Um,
it's really it's kind of a pro and con of this movie. You kind of have to give it credit for not trying to make Hawaii some sort of like spiritual place that he's going for like rejuvenation and stuff. It's just a
mhm.
vacation spot. He's not trying to like become Hawaiian or connect with the juju of the island or something like that. That a
Definitely
movie
not.
similar to this might do.
Yeah, and then meeting Mila Kunis's character, she is someone from the mainland who moved out there.
Hmm.
She's not someone who grew up or was born on the island, which is an interesting approach. Kind of makes her a little bit more relatable to him. I guess it would have been interesting if you went with someone who was born there natively, but but yeah, Kristen Bell. This is a delightful role for her. Again, I think this kind of introduced a lot of people that didn't know her from her um, TV show days
Veronica
from
Mars.
Veronica Mars, yeah, where she, cut her teeth on, the silver screen, as it were. So she's hilarious in this, even if she's kind of a villainess.
She's definitely made her name as like a kind of a biting comedy type person. She's always kind of like a smart. She's got the comeback. She's never going to play like a bimbo in any way. And so this film definitely uses that to its advantage because she's yeah, like you're saying, she's arguably in the villain role, but she's got a little bit more depth to her. And part of my like I literally have like pros and cons of this movie listed out, and like
Hit
my
me with
biggest
them.
pro of this movie is that it really starts to dive into her character in the middle.
Hmm.
Like it introduces kind of the idea like she's going through a crisis and she has to kind of hang on to the spotlight as a celebrity who's a bit of a flash in the pan on
Hmm.
this show that is popular now but might not be popular later and maybe just got canceled.
Yeah.
And so I like I liked what the movie seemed like it was doing in the middle there, like how it seemed like it was opening with Jason Segel's character and making it seem like his movie, but then giving her a little bit more time on her own. I just don't like how it kind of throws that all away almost immediately.
Really, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, of how the humanizing her towards the middle of
Hmm.
the movie, of like kind of breaking down some of the stuff. They're still talking to each other when they run into each other on the resort. But she kind of has that like come to Jesus moment of just like, oh shit, I really fucked up.
Hmm.
And Peter, I really, really miss you. And Peter is weak in that moment and tries to seduce him. And then the last thing he says to her, which is my favorite thing that he says, it's the last line that they have together as characters, and he says, "You're the goddamn devil," which is such a powerful thing to say to somebody, and then never see that person again in the rest of the movie.
Yeah, it is. It is kind of like the ideal version of a breakup. Like I am so completely done with this person that I feel no attraction to them at all. And here I can prove it. And let me cap it off by just like saying what I want to say to them.
Yeah, it's
And
great.
then
It's
they are
powerful.
out.
It's powerful in that way. But yeah, let's. I want to hear some more of your pros and cons, and we'll just battle them out.
Do you want me to? We keep forgetting to do the plot description. Should I do a plot
Oh
description?
my God, you're fucking right.
These last few episodes, it's been like 50 minutes in, and we're like, should we maybe talk about the plot of this movie?
We kind of should. We should do that. We'll do stopwatch, and I'll give you a minute to give me the plot of Forgetting Sarah Marshall. When your mark gets set, go, Joe.
Okay, Forgetting Sarah Marshall is about a guy named Peter who is a composer for a hit TV show that stars his girlfriend. His girlfriend is Sarah Marshall. She breaks up with him, and he becomes like a sad sack who goes to Hawaii to kind of get away from it all and maybe find himself. Instead, he finds Sarah Marshall there. She's there with her new boyfriend, and so they have a lot of awkward encounters. Meanwhile, Peter starts to have romantic feelings for the front desk person at the hotel, played by Mila Kunis. They kind of have a lot of back and forth where she's kind of hesitant to date someone, and then she starts to have feelings for him. She encourages him into his musical pursuits in a way that Sarah Marshall never really did. They have more awkward interactions with Sarah Marshall and her new boyfriend, who's a rock star named Aldous. Sarah Marshall eventually realizes she's not satisfied in her career or with Aldous, but it's too late because she can't get Peter back. And then Peter leaves Hawaii after almost cheating on Mila Kunis, kind of cheating on Mila Kunis, and she follows him back to California, I guess, and they get together after he does his Dracula musical.
Amazing.
I kind of lost the plot towards the end there, but
it's fine. You get that's once you hit the 30-40 second mark, you kind of just you're in your own world. You've already made your bed.
I want listeners who have to like listen to us do plot descriptions every single episode to try it sometime, because you literally, when you see a stopwatch in front of you, you forget how to say English words.
Oh yeah. Once we get to like our 40th, 50th episode, we'll have we'll have someone call in.
Yeah.
And if they can successfully, subjectively do the plot within a minute, we'll give them something.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll have 50,000 listeners by that point. So
by that point, easily.
We'll have a large pool to pick from.
We're on episode 24. So 24 more in another year, we'll have 50 episodes and we'll have 50,000 subscribers. It'll be great. That's what we do.
Really, really quick side point though. 24, we do about an episode every 2 weeks on this podcast. So 24 means we are coming up on our first year anniversary.
That's right. In September.
For the Uncultured Cinematic Universe. Justin, how's it been?
This has been such a learning experience.
Mm-hmm.
Getting comfortable with hearing your own voice back is an interesting hurdle. Vibing with my dude Joe back and forth has been a great relationship builder for us. I think, and
we're stronger than ever now, you guys.
Absolutely, bring it on, anybody. We will crush you together. And it's a fun experience, watching new things every month. Sometimes one or two different kind of movies that I never would have otherwise taken the time to go see, like physically go see. Tomorrow we're going to go see next week's episode or the week after's episode, the next month's episode that we're talking about. We're going to go see the movie in person.
It's really fun.
It's really fun. Joe, what about you?
The big thesis of this podcast that we always try to describe, it's really simple. It's just we are showing each other movies that we like or that we want to talk about, and it's really just trying to capture the magic of talking about a movie with someone who's just experienced it for the first time. Yeah. It's the simplest of all concepts, which makes it hard to describe in our podcast byline.
Yeah, it's really interesting too, because your like experience now with the movie, like we said at the upfront, you're kind of lukewarm on it. I can kind of tell, but like it's, to me, like I think this movie is just genius and hilarious. It's also kind of dated,
Yeah, it's been an interesting thing to navigate. Is like what happens when we get to an episode where we both absolutely love the movie. I think there's been high points like that. And also what happens when we get to the episode where like one of us is a little bit colder on a movie and one of us is a little bit warmer. Like what type of like back and forth happens there?
Yeah. Like when I was with Moonstruck, I wasn't super hype on Moonstruck,
wasn't super hype on Moonstruck. I'm probably not super hype on this movie. There's reasons I'll get into.
Let's just do that. Let's get into that.
I also just want to say, like, the subtitle of this podcast could probably be like Joe takes a year to figure out his audio equipment.
Yes,
and it's really evolved. So I'm hoping that that's improving. We definitely had some ups and downs there, but I do have a microphone now that is somewhat professional.
You sound warm as hell.
Crisp. Okay, let me talk about my issues with this movie again.
Yeah, let's start with the cons.
Yeah.
Give me some pros. Yeah.
Well, I talked about the pros here. How I think like it's good that they kind of like build into the Sarah Marshall character a little more than making her like a one-off joke a little bit. My cons are around the Jason Segel and Mila Kunis relationship for the most part. And this is a little unfair because it's looking at it from like a 2023 lens when maybe this would have been like more groundbreaking in 2008. But it almost feels like this movie would be more interesting from almost anyone else's point of view except for him, just because like he's kind of a sad sap in the middle of it.
Sure.
And I and again, like we have the vocabulary to talk about this right now, so it's a little bit hindsight is 2020, but like the Mila Kunis character is very much like manic pixie dream Kunis, you know?
Yes.
So
Okay.
like she literally comes into the story and it's like she exists to help Jason Segel's character fulfill his destiny. Basically, she doesn't really have any wants or needs of her own. She's got a lot of like a vibe about her. She very much like opens him up to the possibilities of like this is what freedom can look like. This is what like non I'm in a relationship with Kristen Bell can look like.
Yeah.
And she shows him like a wild side, but like it seems like her entire narrative arc is just like helping this man become better and fixing him at the end of the day, even though like she has like some funny comedic moments and she's given a little bit of depth in terms of like she she doesn't mind her place in the world right now, even though she's just like working a 9 to 5 job in Hawaii. And she's not like some great actress like Kristen Bell, great actress, great big Hollywood star like Kristen Bell. And she seems to be okay with that, which makes it weird on my end when like the big resolution of her story is that she's finally doing what everyone wants her to do and going to school on the mainland, you know,
Yeah.
like that. And we're supposed to like feel great about that. It's just like, I almost wanted her to just like be okay with her lot in life. That sounds weird.
Yeah, like of not going back to the mainland to do the thing that you said you were going to do because of a guy, because of someone else, because
Yeah.
she's very independent. And I do think that was kind of groundbreaking at the time because she was like not over the top Zoe Deschanel, manic pixie girl dream
No.
date. She was just grounded, real person of just like, hey, you don't need to dote on me. I'm not that kind of girl. She's very free. Like she's like, I came to this island for a guy and we broke up like 2 weeks later, and I'm just like making the most of it. And I like it here, and I think that that's kind of refreshing and unique. Um, that I don't think that she is just playing a part to get Peter to the next step. She does do that, but I think she's still very much her own character, except like you said, at the end, it kinda does kinda go out the window because she's like, "I came to see your play, and I'm also looking at schools because, like, whatever."
I think that this movie, one of the biggest problems about this movie is like its conclusions just aren't as earned as they could be. So like it seems like it has to wrap things up pretty quickly because like they're Jason Segel's character Peter is on the island and he's kind of like been dating Mila Kunis's character for just like a few days, but they're having a good time. They're building a relationship, and then he has the moment where he essentially goes back to Kristen Bell's character and they start almost having sex, and he realizes he's not really attracted to her, even though he does like heavily make out with her. And
Yeah.
then like it becomes almost like an immediate thing that Mila Kunis has to be okay with and forgive, which is weird on my end. Like it's people almost start like guilt tripping her into forgiving him for it. The
Yeah.
word blue balls are mentioned. I don't know. It's weird.
That part doesn't play as well to me these days now because she is absolutely justified in being like, "Tell me exactly what the fuck happened,
Mm-hmm.
and you need to leave right now because that's not okay. Fuck that. You need to leave." And everyone else is like, "Come on, he tried," like
He got the picture of your nipples off the wall.
yeah, like, cool, but, like like, come on. So, yeah, I totally agree with you. I don't appreciate the guilt tripping of it, of, no, her feelings are valid too. Like, he fucked up, and which
Mhm.
he did what he should have done. He left her alone like she told him to.
He told her right away. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and he told her right away, and, I don't know who sent her the invite to the show. Had to have been him or maybe one of his friends. Who
I
knows?
think it was maybe him. Yeah.
Yeah, but just like, hey, remember the thing? I'm doing it. Um, so I mean, there's kind of a redemption there too, but I agree with you too that the ending is very rushed. He doesn't have a job. How's he doing this? They didn't
Right.
answer that question.
The arc is there and it makes sense. Like the idea of like him breaking out of the confines of his relationship, but also like his job to do what he really wants. It's all about like him finding who his best self is, which is great. And so he does this Dracula show, which is an annoying show first and foremost, but it's also funny.
You shut the fuck up right
When
now.
he
That show is
sings,
delightful.
it is annoying to me. But I'd watch it, you know. So he kind of is inspired by Mila Kunis to do what he really wants in life and do this Dracula puppet show, kind of like an Avenue Q style thing. And so that's where we end up. It's just a matter of like the tempo at which they get there is kind of weird, and the way that they try to like redeem versus like shit on and sexually humiliate the Sarah Marshall character was a little bit too up and down for me. I totally understand like what they're doing and what they're hoping to say there from like a comedy standpoint.
Mhm.
I don't know. I think in a movie now it would maybe spend a little bit more time with the female characters in this movie and give them a little bit more of like an individual arc that isn't
Yeah,
centered around him.
they kind of hinted at some of it, right? Which would have been great to dig more into. You know,
Mhm.
the humanizing and humility of Sarah Marshall in the middle of realizing like I don't want to lose the starlight. I'm very young. I don't know what to do now that this job is done. And then also at the same time coming to a head. Like I really wish she kind of would have dealt more with the consequences of her actions of
Mm.
what she did with Aldous.
Forgiving Sarah Marshall.
Oh, that's the sequel, Forgiving Sarah Marshall. Oh my god, that
But
would have
then
been
like that whole argument does topple in on itself because it's revealed like she was cheating on him for a year before they even broke up. So like what are we even talking about here?
what are we even doing? And then digging more into Mila Kunis's Rachel character
Mhm.
of, what's more of that backstory there? Who even is this super cool raven-haired girl who from the mainland
She's
who's just
so tan in this movie.
so fucking tan. Like
Let's
at the very end when she's back in LA and she's got that leather jacket on and she's just so dark.
Mhm. She's like
Amazing.
so tan. Which
So
which makes sense if like you work in Hawaii and you're coming from Hawaii. Let's have a little Kunis corner though.
let's dive into the Kunis corner. She is cool as shit.
Mila Kunis is so great.
She's so effortlessly cool.
Even in a role where I think she's being like underserved like this, endlessly watchable as a character. Like I'm never like bored with what I'm seeing on screen.
Yeah, she definitely harbors some of the adjacent energy to a manic pixie girl. But it's different because it's independent, strong woman in a sense who knows how to have fun. Who is confident in her skin, confident in her choices, um, you know, staunch in her friendships, all that kind of stuff.
Loves the Smiths.
Loves the Smiths, man.
I don't know. That's a manic pixie thing.
Morrissey is just like, oh,
Yeah.
do it. Tell me more. Tell me more about Kunis. What are your thoughts on her in this movie?
I like the arc that she's been on. Anytime you have like Family Guy going on and bankrolling you for 20 years, you got to hold on to that, and she has.
She has. She's smart. She's played it real smart.
Like
She
I
gets
wish I had a Family Guy where it's like I go into the booth for a week once a year, and then like where's
say
my
a couple
paycheck,
lines,
baby?
say a couple lines, add a couple more zeros to my bank account, and then
Yeah,
get to pick and choose what movie I get to make next.
yeah.
Yeah, she plays kind of the same sort of character from Black Swan in a sense of
Tell me
effort.
about this.
Yes.
Explain your thoughts here.
You played the movies side by side. You sync them up at the exact same time.
It says something about like steel not melting under jet fuel or something. I don't know.
Oh my God. You get to the end where she's seducing Natalie Portman is the same when they're making love at the end of Forgetting Sarah Marshall. It's amazing.
Yeah.
No, they're both characters in both of those movies. Mila Kunis portrays like an effortlessly cool, um, uninhibited
Mm-hmm.
individual
Mm-hmm.
that the main character, Natalie Portman or Jason Segel in this instance, um, needs and relies on this character to kind of evolve, right?
Justin, this is fascinating.
Do you not agree? Like,
I totally do. Like it's kind of insane to think of her in the manic pixie dream girl archetype in a horror sense in Black Swan. It's like it's no, I completely see what you're saying. She kind of represents this level of freedom or unrestrictedness
yeah,
that this whatever main character we have is not really used to and is
mhm,
experiencing for the first time.
yeah. It's refreshing, to the eyes of the audience as well as the main character
Mm-hmm.
to see like, oh, this is the possibility of what the other side looks like. This is what my life could be like with someone else. In Peter's case, this is what my life could be like if I loosened up a little and invited a girl into bed. In Natalie Portman's case, it's opening doors essentially.
Maybe I need to retract some of my statements. Maybe she's not like manic pixie. Maybe she's more of like the cool girl, you know? Like, have you ever seen Gone Girl?
Oh yeah.
Where she has the whole monologue about like cool girl like drinking beer and stuff. Maybe it's
Okay.
more along those lines where
Yeah.
there's a level of like, yeah, she's not like other girls. And she can like kind of talk to these guys one on one. Not as
Mhm.
much as like a negative connotation as Gone Girl gives it,
Yeah.
but a little bit more of a solidified character than some angelic spirit come in to help a
Just
guy
like
on his path.
just like loosey goosey. Like you
Yeah,
need to listen to this song.
she's got a little bit of an edge to her.
Definitely an edge. She's wielded a knife and like threatened somebody with it. You can tell.
Yeah, which is weird because you think about like Kunis these days, and she's stuck with, at least in the movies that I've seen, she's stuck with comedy. So movies like the Bad Mom movies that she's been in, and the Spy Who Dumped Me. She's kind of playing more of like a square character at first who learns how to open up in a lot of these
Okay,
movies.
kind of
So
the
it's almost
reverse. The reverse.
it's like she's in a different lane, still operating in these kind of like raunchy, more R-rated comedies,
But
but
she's Uno
she's
reversed
trying a few
herself.
different angles.
Yeah. Gave it the old Uno reverse card to herself.
The old Uno reverse. Kunis is fascinating.
Yeah, she is dynamite.
Mm-hmm.
This time frame of her, coming off of that 70s show and into this, into feature lengths and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I said in our Black Swan episode, her role in this movie got her the Black Swan role.
Really?
I think so. I think I said that.
You can, I mean, you can kind of see it. Like she's kind of like the cooler version to Kristen Bell's Sarah Marshall.
Watch. We're gonna do this thing, and we're gonna make a supercut later. I'm gonna reference the exact episode, and we're gonna pull in the clip here, and then it's gonna play, and then I'm gonna say like, "See, look, Joe, I did say that."
Wow, it just played, and you were just right.
Or we'll do the opposite and be like, "Okay, so maybe I didn't say that. Maybe it was the opposite, or it never happened."
It's very much the energy of like Dr. Hammond in Jurassic Park, like talking to himself in the presentation on screen.
Oh,
That's what we're
I
doing.
have lines. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, hello there.
Mr. DNA. Yeah. I love it. Any more cons that you think to this movie? I think they're totally justified. Like the ending's rushed. Some of the stuff isn't earned. Some of the character resolutions are kind of like, I don't know, backhands to where they kind of were going with them. I don't know. What else you got?
No cons. I think again, like I think it does better than some of the movies in the time at like not making Hawaii a magical place for renewal. It's instead it's like, here's all the shitty stuff that can actually still happen in Hawaii if you bring it with you as baggage.
It's true. They do get into some like shenanigans.
I think you have like the wacky side characters again that come with a typical movie like this. So you have like Kenneth from 30 Rock trying to figure out how to have sex with his wife for the first time. You have Paul Rudd kind of popping in and out almost contractually. Like he has to be here being
For
like a
5
crazy
minutes.
Paul Rudd character.
Yeah.
So like those work for me. I think it's fine. You've got like a supporting cast like any movie like this would have. Um, Again, I think I'm used to Kristen Bell having more of a central character energy and really like being able to flex her comedic chops in something like The Good Place. And
Ooh, yeah.
I was wanting that energy here, but maybe that's not really fair just because she wasn't really at that point in her career during this movie. And so maybe it does make sense for her to play this kind of more unrelatable, not as great,
Not as great, kind of
bad
good
character.
character. Yeah. Even though she is a bad character, essentially, in The Bad Place or in The
She's
Good
a
Place at the beginning.
total dirtbag in The
Yeah.
Good Place. Yeah.
Yeah. But she still has her redeeming qualities because
Yeah.
she's Kristen Bell and she's cute as hell.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I would love a redemption sequel 20 years, 10 years after the fact, and we'll call it Forgiving Sarah Marshall, and she can be
Forgiving
the
Sarah Marshall.
and she can be the central character.
It's like a hard drama too. It's
Oh,
like up for
yeah.
Oscars.
Yeah, like, it opens on the funeral of Aldous Snow, like, he overdosed, and
Yeah.
it's very somber, you know?
It's them all coming back together for the funeral.
Oh, and they have to fly his ashes overseas, like, hilarious, and and then
Pandemic breaks out on the plane.
Oh my god, could you imagine it? Then it turns into an action adventure kinda thing, like a Uncharted kinda thing where it's a survival movie now.
They crash in the jungle, yeah.
That'd be great. That'd be great.
Foraging with Sarah Marshall. I don't know. There's so many things you can do here.
Oh, I know, verbing. Yeah, verb Sarah Marshall.
Finding Sarah Marshall.
Oh my god, that's the threequel. That's the final ending piece where she
Wow.
finds herself. Oh my god. It's like Live, Laugh, Love. No, no, no. What was the one with Julia Roberts?
Eat, Pray,
Love. Not Live, Laugh, Love.
We're so good at coming up with sequel names for the movies that we cover for sequels that like don't exist yet.
I should start making fake posters and inserting them into the point where we talk
Yes.
about it, and that'll be a highlight reel.
We're really coming up with like different little inserts that we can make on the video.
See, okay, so once we reach 50 episodes and 50,000 subscribers and all that kind of stuff, and we can do this full time, we'll have a full-time multimedia team, and we can shoot our own like fake trailers and stuff. It'll be great.
Yeah.
Yeah. And with the power of AI, we can overlay Kristen Bell's face on your face so you can do the motion capture.
It's timely, yeah.
It's perfect for it. Okay. So also speaking of timely, we probably should have said this at the beginning. Condolences to everybody in the Isle of Maui that is on fucking fire.
Yes.
The planet is burning, and it is all of your parents' and grandparents' fault.
We're not feeling great about the fires in Hawaii, even though we are talking about an episode that takes place in Hawaii.
Correct.
Quick disclaimer.
We'll cut this and put it at the beginning of the episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, donate now whenever you can. Cool. Let's talk about some iconic lines and scenes, and then we'll get into final thoughts. So you mentioned Paul Rudd. I love his just like standard fly in and out, say anything hilarious that comes to his mind. He has all the great lines. You sound like you're from London. When life hands you lemons, just say fuck the lemons and bail. Like he's got some great stuff, man. Paul Rudd has got a Paul Rudd.
I did laugh at like, I wonder if the carpet matches the pubes line.
It's so good. I love Peter's impression of Samantha from Sex and the City when he's getting drunk at the bar. Just, I'm Samantha. I'll have sex with anyone. That's what I think of anytime I see Sex and the City. Yeah, his last line to Sarah, "You're the goddamn devil," I think is genius. That's the last exchange that they have as characters. Mila has so many great just interactions. She has really wonderful scenes. When they're on the beach, going to that after party, like it's just great stuff. What are some standout things from you?
I think Jonah Hill being such an agent of chaos in this movie, but like so low key that you kind of forget that he's in it.
And he's just obsessed with Aldous Snow.
He works at the hotel. He's obsessed with Aldous Snow, and therefore has like this like, aggressive attitude towards Peter almost by default because he's not Aldous Snow. And so there's a hilarious scene where like Peter sits down with like a full plate of food from a buffet, and Jonah immediately comes by and like he's like,
"Are you done with this? Can I take it?" It's like, I literally just sat down.
Okay, I guess I'll go fuck myself then.
Just like, what? Oh, and then okay, so another favorite line is when Aldous is playing live and he's standing next to Jonah Hill and he's like, just went from 6 to midnight. It's just like, oh my God. Like such a great character choice to be obsessed stalker vibes, like murderish vibes.
I think he plays like an absolute like straight man to Aldous Snow's character and Get Him to the Greek too, if I recall. Like he's completely different.
Yeah. Yeah. So, any other kind of standout scenes, hilarious bits? So let's talk about the music real quick. This movie takes you on a musical journey. There's so many unique pieces to it. There is the ominous tones that Peter provides to the show. Then which is just hilarious. It's just dark, bing bong, whatever.
He's just like doing background stuff for a crime show.
Yeah,
like
hilarious.
Law and Order.
It's great. Like you don't think that that's a person doing that. It's just, but it is. Someone actually wrote that, spent the time to go in and go into the studio. All of the Aldous Snow songs are just so insane. Inside of You is such a touching, gentle, loving song.
It's him trying to be this like guru to the people, but he's singing songs that are so sexually insane.
He's trying to be John Lennon, but just coming up way too short. And then of course there's the Dracula musical piece, which I think is dynamite and hilarious. I love that he sings as Dracula, like the overt, over the top Dracula voice.
It's so stupid.
And it's so like out of left field. You don't expect that. You're like, Dracula musical, what is this? And he starts playing that song in the bar and you're just like, what is happening? This is hilarious.
I love that everyone in the bar is like, what the fuck is this? Do you know a fun fact that I learned?
What did you know?
That kind of like segues back to a recent episode. The puppets in the Dracula sequence designed by Jim Henson and company.
Oh my God, I didn't know that.
We love a connective tissue. This goes back to our Muppets Treasure Island episode.
Absolutely.
This goes back to Labyrinth. Jim Henson and company still kicking.
I love
still
that.
Making waves.
I thought that those puppets looked like really, really too well made.
Yeah.
They
look really good.
If you try and like pick apart, like how did he afford to do a production that intense on like they didn't show him getting another job, you know? So like what did he do for money to be able to produce that thing?
Yeah, the production value. It looks like, based on Bill Hader's presence, it looks like he has most of his friends in the play singing with him.
So that's where he saved some of the money.
But still, those puppets look like they are expensive as hell.
Like thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars. I don't know how much a puppet is, but we can guesstimate. At least they're more than $100. I can say that.
More than 100, less than $1 million, somewhere in there.
Quite the range. It's a big sliding scale. I love the play so much. I think it's hilarious. I would love to have just like an offshoot of the play from beginning to end. I think that'd be hilarious.
Just release it on Disney Plus.
Yeah. Because apparently the teens love this movie so much. But yeah, the music is a delightful piece to this movie.
I think there's a couple musical moments that I laughed at. It's after he's broken up with Kristen Bell, and he's having to go back into the studio to record music for her show. So her face is like on the big screen in front of him, and he, instead of like doing his regular like crime music, he does like a Seinfeld riff.
Yeah,
that was funny. And then I think the movie, correct me if I'm wrong, it ends with a cover of "Nothing Compares to You" in Hawaiian. Double check.
I think it does. I think it does. I think you're right.
Yeah. I was like, what is playing right now?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Real fun.
Which, rest in peace, Sinead O'Connor.
Rest in peace, R.I.P.
The original Buck the System gal.
Yeah.
Love her. Great. And then also rest in peace, Prince, because that's his song too. Amazing. Final thoughts on Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Yeah, like I said, It is a part of a grouping of movies that are very much associated with like 2007, 2008, 2009. For me, like Knocked Up, 40-year-old version. Also, movies that I haven't seen before. So this is hopefully like the start of me getting into the Apatow universe.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to revisit Freaks and Geeks now.
I tried Freaks and Geeks several years ago,
How is it?
and it was kind of hard to get into because because it takes place in like the 70s, I think, 70s or 80s.
The timeline's confusing. Yeah.
It's timeline's confusing, but it's from like the early 2000s.
Yeah.
It's kind of got Buffy vibes. It's kind of got, the shows of the era. But apparently there's some really great stuff. So maybe I should also take a revisit.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll circle back and we'll add it to the ever-growing queue of however we're going to eventually dive into television on the UCU.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So I think this movie is hilarious. It's just a strange comfort watch for me for some reason. I was an unemployed schlub for several months, fresh out of college, and this movie just I don't know, dug its way into my psyche for some reason. Like I just have unique shots just like singed into my brain from watching this movie so goddamn much. But yeah, I love it, and I'm glad you got to experience it.
He's got a good peepee.
Got a great peep. Love that peep. Which, like, how do you prep for that kind of stuff coming in to shoot? Like, you're doing it's the penis day. Are you ready?
Do you fluff it up a little bit? I mean, like
like it's a porn star. Like it's a.
I mean, it can't be like, obviously it can't be like fully anything, but like you want to make it so it looks somewhat nice, I guess.
Yeah. Judd Apatow's in the back. It's like, I don't shoot boners. Get this out of here.
I don't think you can shoot boners even in an R-rated movie.
No, I don't think so. I think you're right.
Correct me on that.
Listeners in overseas, if the rules are different, let us know. Cool.
The rules are different in Europe. Just let us know. We'll come right over.
We'll come right over. We'll let you know. Cool. So that was Forgetting Sarah Marshall, a movie that I think is hilarious. And so I wanted to take. This is us transitioning into the end games, Joe. I took obviously a huge influence from the movie taking place in Hawaii. I wanted to do a Hawaiian song. It didn't turn out exactly like I wanted to.
Okay.
But you'll hear why. Are you ready to play?
Terrified as always. Lay it on me.
All right, here we go. I tried really hard to make a super cool, unique in-game song, but that's really hard, Joe. When you want to do Janet Jackson on a ukulele, because that was my original idea, I was gonna call it What Have You Done For Me Lately, which is fucking hilarious. But that's really hard to do on a ukulele because that song has so much bass and groove and drums because it's Janet Jackson. And now I'm just stuck with this song and I don't know what to do. And everything is just so derivative and incredibly too simple. And I'm just kind of give up. But I should leave this to professionals. And we know plenty of professionals. We have our friend Matt, who is a professional musician. And he writes silly songs like this. But I'm not going to waste his time. And I'm just wasting my time and both of our times. But that's just what we do at the UCU. So, Joe, we're going to play What Have You Done For Me Lately?
One of your finest, Justin. When in doubt, go self-referential. Go meta.
That's exactly what I did. So we are playing a game called What Have You Done For Me Lately? I was going to do a riff on the Janet Jackson song, What Have You Done For Me Lately? But that was really hard to do. So this is where we landed. So if you'll recall, Joe, about 5 minutes before we started and hitting record, I sent you a list of names.
Yeah.
Do you have those names handy in front of you?
I have it in front of me. It's very ominous. I told you it looks like a kill list that we're about to start crossing off.
So I gave you a list of names. The names are as follows: Sarah, Joe, Kristen, Justin, Russell, Jonathan, Peter, Ryan, Jonah, Jason, and Matt. That is your name bank. Joe, what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you a list of 9 Hawaiian translated names. I got the idea from the scene with Peter And Paul Rudd's character, he's like, "Hey, I'm looking for Chuck." He's like, "Oh man, that's my main land name. My name is Kunu." It's like, "Oh, what does Kunu mean?" He's like, "It means Chuck." I typed it into one of those translators. I found a translator online, Joe, and I took 9 of those, I think 11 names that I sent you. So you have 2 extra names in your bank, so you're gonna have to choose carefully.
Okay. So I could get to the end of this and still not know,
Yeah, absolutely. So what I have the slideshow on screen so you can see the name as well as the pronunciation.
Okay.
And it's not in the order that I gave you the names. Haha. So if I were to show you the name Kunu and the pronunciation Kunu, you would choose from your name bank, and in your name bank in there would be Chuck. And you'd be like, "Does Kunu mean Chuck?" And I'll be like, "That's correct, Joe. You nailed it." Are you ready? So are you good?
I suppose. I don't think any of these names are Hawaiian in origin, so I'm going to be guessing for most of this.
Absolutely. You got it.
But also
They're not
learning.
correct. Yeah. This is great. Okay, so this is the test slide, but we're going to get to the first one. This is question 1, Joe. That is pronounced Iukikini. Iukikini.
Iukikini.
So look through your list of names and tell me, who do you think Iukikini is?
I'm going to say Iukikini is your translation of Kristen.
That is incorrect.
Okay, lay it on me.
All right, so you got that one wrong. Question 2. Here we go. We got Liana.
Are you not going to tell me what Iukikini is?
Should I tell you so you can know to cross that off the list?
Yeah.
Okay. Here. Oh yeah, that's right. I guess that would help. Iukikini is the Hawaiian translation of Justin.
Oh.
Yeah.
I should have started there.
You should have. All right, Liana.
Liana. I'm going to say that this is the translation of Kristen.
That is incorrect again.
Shit.
That is the translation for Ryan.
Oh, okay.
You can notice a theme here, Joe. All right, number 3. We got Iokepa.
Iokepa. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say Kristen.
That's wrong again. It's going to hit, maybe. Who knows? That's Joe. That's for Joseph. That's Joseph.
I see what we're doing here. Okay. Iokepa is Joe.
It's Joseph. Yeah.
That's good to know.
Yeah. So if you ever wanted to move to Hawaii and change your name,
I'm going to have to verify this translator source, but yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. All right. So now we got Io Nakana.
See, I know what's happening right now. I'm going to say Jonathan for this.
Oh my God. You got it right. You got one right.
Recognize the EO.
Oh, okay. You know what? I knew you would catch on to that. That's great.
Okay.
All right. Number 6. We got Makayo.
Makayo. I'm going to say that is Matt.
That is correct. Well
nice.
done.
Nice.
Well done. Nice.
M's matching up.
You know, you love to see that happen. All right. Next, we have Kala.
Kala. You know what? I got a weird instinct. I'm going to say Sarah.
That is correct. Ha. That is a hot instinct you got right there.
I'm on fire.
You are on fire.
Everything on red.
All right. Next, we have Pika.
Pika. Let's say Peter.
You would be correct.
Nice.
All right. Here we are. 2 questions left, Joe.
Only 2. Okay.
Keely Kina.
Keely Kina. I'm going to go with Kristen on that one.
Okay, there you go. Finally, it pays off.
Full circle.
Yeah.
Were you really worried that I was going to say Kristen for all
the whole time?
Yeah. Game? Yeah. I almost did.
I'm glad you did. All right, Joe. And the last one, we have Iacona.
Iacona. I think this is Jonah.
Incorrect.
Oh, really?
It's Jason.
Okay. So, there's definitely like an I equals J thing happening here. Makes me think of Last Crusade, Indiana Jones, where he's like, It starts with an I in the old alphabet or something.
Yeah, there you go.
And then he falls to the floor.
So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of 9. That is a passing grade.
Honestly, not bad because
No.
I was really, really guessing
Yeah.
for most of that.
That was really fun. Of course, we have Ryan to thank for that one. Always coming up with just dynamite fire ideas.
She's the brains and the beauty.
She
In that
really is.
household.
She really is. 100%. I'm not even joshing about it, or
Yes.
I coca about it.
You are a simpleton.
I am. Joe, that was What Have You Done For Me Lately? I'm going to say it again because I am so proud of that pun.
Yeah.
Cool. So last little bit, that was our episode on Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Joe, do you want to tease what movie we're going to go see tomorrow and talk about on our next episode?
I'm very excited for this. So our August miniseries is about vacationing. It's about going to a different location and finding yourself. Summer vacation for the most part. And what is a better summer vacation movie? Probably a few, but like what's a more iconic summer vacation movie than the Lindsay Lohan Parent Trap, which Justin has somehow made it through life having never seen.
Never saw it, man.
So we're going to go do one of our favorite things, which is to go to a wussy event at the Plaza Theater here in Atlanta. And surprise, surprise, the showing of The Parent Trap is actually going to be attended by Meredith from the movie.
Nope.
So the actress who plays Meredith, we're rolling it back. Did she end up not being able to go?
She's not coming. Yeah, because of the SAG strike.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Is that why?
That's why.
I saw something about it, but I was confused. Okay.
she's not
Well, originally she was going to be there, and she will be there in spirit now.
But we will, of course, be in full regalia, summer camp regalia.
Yeah, we'll post pictures. We're going to try to match because this is iconic twin cinema. And so I'll be able to show Justin The Parent Trap, which is a bucket list item for me.
And it's going to come to fruition again in person. I hope it lives up to the hype and the fervor that we saw with Moulin Rouge at the same Plaza Theater, a same wussy event. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
That's tomorrow night. I can't wait. Very excited. And then what are we getting into in September? I don't think we've solidified what the fuck we're going to do.
I was actually trying to think of about that before this episode started. We're going to have to put our heads together because I know we have it written down somewhere, but we will definitely have more information on the September miniseries in our next episode.
Because it is our 1-year anniversary. Yeah. So it's going to have to be something special and something different. Who knows?
It should be themed around like one. We already did like firsts back in January.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll figure something out.
If you got any ideas,
like a wedding movie thing.
Okay, yeah. If you got any ideas, send us an email and we'll find it somehow, or shoot us a DM and Ryan will let us know.
Yeah,
eventually. But hey, thanks again for listening to the Uncultured Cinematic Universe. Catch us in the next couple weeks when we release Parent Trap. The fun never ends here. But yeah, we'll catch you guys later. Bye.
Bye.